Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkandbutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for our Project Share Project blog hop for February, which features Sale-a-bration and the items within that. So Sale-a-bration is a marvellous celebration, if you like, that happens during January and February, where you can earn extra product with the with your purchases. So in £45, £90, you can actually qualify to get a free product. So like I say, I'm going to be showing you a project using those Sale-a-bration items. And because it's part of a blog hop, if you can click in the description, click over to my blog post, which is linked there. There'll be links to the other hoppers, so that'll be Jill, Jez and Heather, and see what they've come up with too. Alright, so the product I'm featuring is the Friendly Hello bundle. This is one of the items that you will get with a £90 order, because you get a full stamp set and a pack of paper. So it's a bumper item. Really pretty papers that coordinate with the stamp set, and you can stamp on top of it, fussy cut it, do all sorts of things with it. Okay, and there's some really pretty samples in there for some inspiration too. So that's the little brochure there, and that's what I'm going to be using, and these are the cards I've made. Alright, so we've got the Pale Papaya Pool Party and Fresh Freesia papers. There are others in there, but these ones I picked out because they have a pattern that has a black outline and a sort of white pattern on it as well. So I'm doing this sort of two-tone DSP layered card look. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how you can achieve that. We're going to replicate these two and just show you how to use your cardstock reasonably effectively. A couple of card bases I need, so I didn't pull those across from my stash, so I prep card bases ahead of time and have them ready to go. So these are full A4 sheets of thick basic white cardstock, which I cut lengthways at 4 1/8 of an inch, which is just short of halfway, so you will have to just trim off a little bit on the second length as well. And then I score them at 5 7/8 of an inch, and that gives you a standard UK A2 card base. And then I'm going to have 2 full cardstock layers. So this is the basic white, the regular basic white, which is cut to 4 by 5 3/4. Those are going to be our layering panels. And then over here I've just pulled out the 2 papers that I'm working with today. So Fresh Freesia and Pale Papaya, and then if you flip them over, we've got the sort of corresponding pattern on the other paper, if you like. So we're going to be able to make our cards quickly and easily with that. So I'm going to bring in the trimmer and just show you what I did. The width on these needs to be slightly shorter than normal, so I've actually cut that down to 3 7/8 of an inch. So that's what the length is. I'd already cut the length. So for our cards then, what I'm going to do is cut them down to what they would normally need to be. So in this case I'm going to cut this down to 5 5/8. Okay, and that makes that a full card piece that goes onto this layer. Okay, right, following so far. So we'll cut this one down as well, just while we're at it. So we've now got 2 pieces of the designer series paper that are full card fronts. Okay, but we want to shake them down a bit. So the easiest way, rather than measuring funny bits and pieces, is to just lop off 2 inches. So now I've got a bottom and a top, and then let's do it that way. You choose which one you want to keep and flip. So from that piece of card, those two pieces of DSP, I can make the two cards like so. Okay, so I hope that was okay and clear. So we've got those ready to go now. Just pop those over there for 1 minute. The sentiment is this beautiful hello friend sentiment, which we are just going to ink with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. So just light tapping onto the pad there, press down, hold it down and just sort of rub over the top. You're not giving it CPR, you're not, just hold it down and press it down firmly and lift straight up, and you'll get a really nice image every time. Okay, so if you struggle with pressing down, have a look for our Stamparatus tool as well, which helps with that kind of thing. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and die cut two of those sentiments ready to go using this die from the Stitched So Sweetly collection, which you'll find in the main catalogue. One of my favourite die sets ever, really lovely, and it fitted perfectly on there, which was wonderful. I'm just going to turn those over and prep these up with some mini dimensionals, and I'm going to do them along the top and along the bottom because we're going to be putting that ribbon across the middle. So I want the lift, but I want the dimensionals to stick to the actual card base rather than the ribbon. So dry adhesive like a dimensional won't stick very well to over the top of ribbon. So that's the theory behind that. And I'm just using these minis because they're just perfect just to sort of run along the edge there. They're great for skinny sentiments as well, if you're using anything like that. So just takes a little bit more effort, but the backs come off really easy. You could also cut down your larger dimensionals if you don't have the minis. Just snip a few in half and they'll be roughly the right size. So now all we need to do is just construct the cards. So I'm going to bring in those two white panels there ready to layer onto, and then we're going to use some seal, which I've lost. There it is. Just apply that to each of those. Just make sure you've got it the right way around, widthways, yep. And just layer that down with your borders, look like you would do normally. Just lining up those edges there, which you've seen me do on numerous occasions. Now theoretically this just fits on the top and you get the correct border. Okay, I just like to go around those cut edges, just make sure that they're all nice and flat. So that's one done. Do the other. Again, just some seal on there. Just really nice, fast way to stick things down. Like so. And so you can just put this up against there. If you're at all unsure that your cutting might be a little bit off, you might prefer to turn it round and just make sure it lines up with the edge, and it doesn't matter what happens here because we're covering it with ribbon, if that makes sense. Okay, right, all my edges are all nice and pinned down now, so that's our bases done. Let's apply our ribbons next. So I like to have some sort of bits of tape behind there to secure the ribbon at the back before we place it onto our cardstock. So we'll just pop those strips on there, and I'm just going to bring in the in colour open weave ribbons. Okay, so Fresh Freesia, I think, is the first one. It's going to lie this down so that this that edging sort of strip thing lines up with the join on the designer series paper, or roughly anyway, and it helps if the ribbon makes contact with the adhesive that you've put on the back of your card, or thereabouts anyway. Wrap it round, and then I'm going to come round again and then overlap that the edge strip, so you kind of, it looks like one piece of ribbon with this nice edge detail to it. And I've put the tape where the too low down on the back of there, but there you go. Must have had it upside down when I was doing it. So that's our ribbons across the middle on that one. Running out of desk space. And then while we're at it, I'm going to cut off 2 additional lengths. They're about, I don't know, what are they, about 5-6 inches, something like that, which we're going to do our little knots and things with. Let's do this one. Same thing, it's the open weave ribbon. So again, I've put that too low on the thingy. So again, just line up that sort of edging with the join. Take it round and overlap it, and you get this lovely effect. You don't have to double it up if you don't want to, but you get so much ribbon on a spool, I can assure you it will last a very long time. So there's our other one, and say we'll just cut off our extra couple of lengths ready to go when we do our finishing off. Right, let's get our card bases out and get these adhered to there. So just a bit more tape along the bottom here to add to our card bases. Just as a thought, I did think, because we've got the black accents and stamping and stuff, this would probably layer nicely with black cardstock as well, so you'd end up with that nice sort of frame around the designer series paper. So you could try that too if you fancy having a go at this but doing something a little different. And then if I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, the reason this ended up with white on white like this is because I didn't have any pool party cardstock, and I had to think of something else. The other thing you could do is, if you wanted to layer, which I thought about afterwards, if you wanted to layer onto some coloured cardstock but you haven't got the colour cardstock, if you go round the edge with a well, there's several ways you could do it. You could do it with a blend, you could do it with the Stampin' Up markers, you could do it with the brush and some ink, that kind of thing. So you could colour the edge of the cardstock and then make it look like you've got the matching cardstock, because everything matches in the Stampin' Up colour families. They all coordinate beautifully. So there's the sentiments going on just there. Straddling that ribbon, like I said, lining it up with the edge of the card so it looks nice and straight. So there we are, we're coming together quite nicely. Now I find that my ribbon naturally curls up like this, so I thread mine through so it sort of curls back on itself. So you end up with a bit of the tails sit down a bit neater if you do it that way. If you do it the other way, they kind of curl up all over the place, and I'll show you on my original purple one. See how the tails are all over the place, which is fine. You know, it's fine. They just don't sit as nicely if you do it that way. So just there's a little tip there that you'll find that they play a little better if you do it that way. Good tight knot, and pull it in the direction you want it to sit, and hopefully it will sit something like right. You could do bows, you could do, you know, whatever, but I'm trying to keep it simple today by just doing a simple knot that doesn't take a lot of brain ache, so they don't always work out the way you want them to, and it's frustrating. But knots tend to just go the way they need to do, and so if you pull them in the direction that they're supposed to sit, then it should work out just fine. I'm just going to cut those tails off at an angle, one slightly longer than the other, just so you've got that little bits of texture running through. Same with this one, top one. Oh, if I can get under the thing, that would be good. So that's up to you in terms of how long you want to keep those. There you go. And then the final bit to add are these matte black dots. Okay, which again, the theory being that it'll just pull out those black elements in there, which is why it kind of occurred to me that if you'd have layered with black, you would have that tying in as well. You might, I don't know, I mean, obviously I didn't make the samples with the black layers, so I don't know whether they'd come out a little bit on the heavy side if there's too much black, but it's something that you guys can have a look at. So there we go, there's those two from those little bits of paper, making the two cards that with a bit of a different look, which just replicates the original samples that I made there. And like I say, I did do one in the pool party colour as well. It was just convenient that I had those pieces left over for the video demonstration. So there we are then, that's all three cards there for you. The technique can be used with any designer series paper that you like. It doesn't even have to be particularly colour coordinated or anything. You just pull together things that you fancy. The 2 inches is a nice rule of thumb that gives you a nice sort of approximately 2/3 on the card front, which positions your sentiments quite nicely. Really nice with these bold sets. Okay, so that's it guys. Do check out the blog post and check out everyone else's project. I'm sure they'll have done some amazing things with their products too. It's really great to be here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Okay, take care everybody, stay safe, see you soon, bye.